I'm in the zone all day, every day, almost. So I made a list of tips that work for me and things I want to remember. When you're in the zone, your mind just flows a lot better, faster. You aren't distracted. You also have more fun. This is useful for intellectual tasks, creating pursuits, sports, and practically anything. It's also useful to remember that not every activity you do is exactly the same. So, while some of these tips might sound like they conflict with each other, you want to pick the one or ones that work the best for you in the activity you're using them for. Number 1. Sleep. The two main things here are 1. Get enough sleep. It's probably around 7 hours, so sleep for 7 hours a night, every night for a week, and work on similar things each of those days. Then, sleep for 6 hours a night for a week and work on similar things and see if it affects anything. If you still feel great, try 5. If you don't feel as good, go back to 7. If 7 isn't enough, try 8. Experiment and figure out how much works best for you. And 2, relax before you sleep. I like to have at least an hour or 2 before bed where I'm not doing anything like reading articles online, texting, complaining, thinking about negative things, or anything like that. Instead, I use that time to read a more relaxing book, visualize, meditate, and think. If you do agitating stuff before you sleep, it can result in you having less relaxing sleep, and even sinking into your mind, so you're less on point when you wake up. You actually want to think about things before sleep that you actually want to sink into your mind. Number 2, just start. Just start doing stuff. You might feel like you're not on point, but once you actually start doing things and accomplishing things, you'll pull yourself more into it. For example, I remember this time when I sat down to start and I didn't feel 100%, so I thought about doing something else that day. I told my friend who I work with that I'm not on point, and she's like, "Yeah, you are, just start." So I did, and within like 30 seconds I was already starting to feel boosted up, and within a few minutes I was really into it. Just start doing stuff. I find that regardless of how I feel before I start, as soon as I start getting more and more into it. So I don't sit back and think, I'm just going to play video games right now, or I need to walk around and do this and that. Just start. Just start. Just start doing it. Just do it. Do it. I didn't feel like I was 100% when I started writing the script, but I just sat down and started doing it to see what would happen. Then I looked up, hours had passed, I had written multiple pages, and I was like, wow, it's lunchtime already? Huh? Number 3, don't do other stuff first. So you eat breakfast, you sit down, and before you start working, you check Reddit, you send off a couple of texts, go through your emails, and then you start working. No big deal. Wrong. Fuck all that shit. First, every second that you spend on random shit adds up. I bet if you add up all the random shit you do throughout the day, even if it's only a few minutes each time, it'll add up to at least an hour. So don't waste time if it's not benefiting you. And second, even if you only do it for a short amount of time, it can stay in your mind and disrupt your thought process. You want to stay in that flow. Imagine your day as you're being on a little raft in a river and you want to keep flowing smoothly and moving on. You don't want to take random detours and crash into rocks and all that, because even if you get back on track afterwards, it still takes some time for you to start rowing and accelerating again. #AnalogyGod. Depending on how mentally and emotionally stimulating the distraction was, the more time it can take you to accelerate back into the zone. Number 4, always stimulate yourself. Always think about interesting things, visualize, solve problems, and so on. If you get up and brush your teeth or go get a drink of water, keep thinking, stay in the zone instead of breaking from it. On a similar note, don't do boring things. If you have to do something that you usually find boring, figure out a way to use it to your advantage. If you sit around thinking, I have to stand in this line. This is so boring, fuck this. All you're doing is wasting that time flooding your brain with negative thoughts as well as working yourself up so your mind is more scrambled and less able to think the way you want it to. If you want to be in the zone, stay in the zone. Don't take little breaks, stay in the zone. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to walk around all day, every day, solving a math problem or something like that. You don't actually need to be thinking about all the time. The main 2 things I want you to do are 1, stay in the right headspace related to what you're doing, and 2, avoid distractions. This is related to something like a meditation retreat, in that you'll learn not to notice anything that isn't related to what you're doing. There could be a dinosaur outside your window, but if it's not related to what you want to do, you not only won't be distracted by it, but you won't even perceive it. Number 5, stay positive. Be positive and enjoy what you're doing. It's as simple as that. Being negative loops you out of that zone state by working you up and agitating your mind. Avoid that. Being negative almost never serves any real purpose, and you're just complaining for the sake of complaining and spiraling. Spiraling isn't very helpful. Find a way to center yourself. This is something I'm working on now. I really enjoy my work. In fact, I love it. But every now and then, I see something I really feel negative about, and it just puts me in a lesser mood. I start complaining and talking about how stupid it is and stuff like that. And I had a friend say, If you know what makes you happy, why do you keep doing the things that make you unhappy? And I was like, holy shit, that's so profound. It sounds so simple, but it's something that has to be mastered. If you're doing something that makes you unhappy, why are you doing it? 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 Especially when the alternative, the thing that makes you happy, is also the thing that supports you. It really makes no sense to do anything else. In relation to being positive, you can also enjoy things like comedy, laughing, and smiling. In my experience, being in the zone is a positive thing. It comes a lot faster with a positive mindset. So eliminate negative stimuli and learn how to control your mind and use them to your advantage. Watch a funny TV show while you're eating breakfast to pump you up for the day. Spend a few minutes talking with a friend and laughing and having fun. You can also use it as a way to unagitate yourself. If you've been thinking about something negative, just flip it and do something funny or watch a funny show for a few minutes. You'll feel a lot better. Number 6, be in the present. Don't let yourself be distracted. Be in the moment. I recently noticed a distinction between thinking about and being with, whether it's in relation to a friend, an idea, or a question. Just allowing yourself to be with it rather than analyzing and plotting will result in a lot of fun and a lot of progress. This is something taught in sports as well, where instead of thinking about what's happening, the player just stills his mind and stays in the moment. You'll notice what's happening, but you don't think about it. You just experience it. You can apply this to anything you do. For example, if you're hanging out with a friend, instead of thinking about her or thinking about how good she looks and what you want to do with her later and thinking about all this stuff, just be with her in the present. Have fun right now, experience right now, and enjoy yourselves. If you're going skiing, don't spend the entire time thinking about skiing like, I need to put my leg like this and I need to put my other leg like this and angle myself like this and I wonder what we'll do when we get back to the lodge later. Geez, just do it. Just ski. That's what you're there for. Just do it. Of course, if you're working on something, you are going to have considerations about the future. So, the way you can apply it in this context is to look at those things in a more detached way. Instead of worrying about the future, just be confident in yourself, in your ability, and pick the best path based on the information you have at hand. Most, if not all, of the things you worry about never even happen. So the negative effects of the worrying itself actually outweigh the negative effects of those things actually happening. Holy shit. I know, right? Number 7. Don't over-try. Don't try too hard to get in the zone. Just do stuff and be in the present and you'll find yourself in it. If you over-try, you'll start working yourself up and start panicking like, oh shit, I'm not in the zone. I wonder if I'll be able to accomplish these things today. I gotta start trying really hard right now. You'll also start clenching your jaw and tightening up your body, things that can actually impede your productivity. All of that just keeps you out of the zone by distracting you and flooding your brain with negativity again. Like I said, stop worrying about it. Just start doing. Number 8, know what to work on. This is a simple thing that helps. Decide what you want to work on tomorrow. Then, when tomorrow is today, do it. Don't stop doing it until you're finished. When I do this, I find myself looking forward to it, and then when I sit down to do it, I'm already into it. Number 9, get up for a couple of minutes. If you've been starting and you just can't get into it, usually all you have to do is get up and do something else for a couple of minutes. Move around a little bit, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, walk around the house for 30 seconds to a minute, bounce on the ends of your feet. Do something physically stimulating like walking on a treadmill for a few minutes, or even do something to get you turned on, something like that, and then come back to it. I recommend saving this for later because, like I said, usually if you think you're not into it, all you have to do is start and you'll be into it really fast. But if you've been at it for a while, or if you're already feeling scrambled and you want to defrag your mind a little, try something like this. Also, when you do this, be sure to stay in the present moment. If you do something like boost yourself up, but your mind is still stuck in negative thoughts, it doesn't work as well. Number 10, try different types of exercise. If you work out, try different types of exercise. Aerobic, high-intensity interval training, and low-intensity training can all affect you differently. For example, if you start doing intervals, it can burn additional calories all throughout the next day. And if you keep your meal schedule exactly the same as usual, you might find yourself more or less attentive at certain times than you're used to. I recommend trying different types of exercise in your workouts. You can try one type for a couple of weeks and see how you feel, then switch it up and compare, and so on. Number 11, get hyped up. Now here are some ideas. 1, look at pictures that support your goal. 2, listen to music that gets you hyped. 3, visualize yourself doing something you love. 4, meditate. 5, look at a single picture and visualize yourself in it without letting your mind drift. Basically, you do something that either A, stimulates you emotionally in a way that reinforces your need and or desire to achieve your goal, Or B, get you feeling good and into it. This leaves you feeling the opposite of tired and worried and negative, so you can more easily get into your groove and let your mind flow. Music is great for calming if you're feeling anxious or annoyed about something. You can also use it to set the mood. For example, if you're organizing all of your photos of your trip to France, you could play some French music to set the vibe and help you get into the mindset. Number 12, list things that take you out of it. Now, if you find things that are specific that always seem to take you out of it, list them, and then find out how to enhance those things and use them to your advantage. Knowing the things not to do is useful because then you can set yourself up ahead to avoid those things. Number 13, don't rush. Rushing puts you in a high beta brain state and takes you out of the zone, which is more of a mid-alpha, high-alpha, or sometimes low beta, depending on what you're doing. If you start rushing, feeling overwhelmed, panicking, or feeling stressed, you kick your brain waves into a higher, more agitated state, which isn't always helpful. Plus, like I said earlier, it may take a while to cool down back to your flow state, so the more you let yourself roll out of it, the less productive you might be. This doesn't mean you can't do things quickly. There is a huge difference between doing something quickly and efficiently and rushing, like, oh shit, I'm late, I'm behind, I better rush through this really fast, uh-oh. The latter is unhelpful. Number 14, diet. Pay attention to the foods you eat and especially how much you eat. You may find that there are certain foods that help you or foods that don't help you. Or you may find that if you eat a little more and balance it out with a little more exercise that you feel better or not than if you eat your usual maintenance level. Just experiment with it and see what works for you. I like to avoid these things: eggs, cow's milk, processed sugar, meat, wheat, fish, and unnecessary chemicals like food coloring and so on. You should experiment with your diet and figure out what works best for you. Number 15, prepare. Before you start, do you have all the things necessary for that activity at hand? So you don't have to do something like break in the middle of it, stopping to eat lunch. To put it simply, before you start doing an activity, make sure you're able to complete it without having to spend energy and brain power on anything other than exactly the activity you want to do. Another useful way to prepare is to have a specific routine. Work on the same thing at the same time every day. It can also be useful to look at your existing routine and see if you want to move things around. For example, if you find you're always in the zone right before lunch, you could try moving your lunch to a later time or combining it with dinner into one big meal. Having a routine can also help you program yourself to get into the zone at that time because your subconscious will know what's coming. So creating routines can be really powerful. Also, if you find yourself being distracted by the same things often, you can find a way to eliminate those things. For example, if you find yourself wanting to check Reddit a lot, block Reddit on your computer so you have to get on your other computer or your tablet to get on it. That way, you'll usually just think it's too much trouble and won't do it. Number 16, take a moment to adjust your mindset. Let's say you've been writing a financial report and you're done and now you want to edit a short movie you made. These two tasks are in total different areas and require totally different skills and headspaces. If you jump straight from financing to editing, you may still be in a financial mindset when editing, which means numbers, formulas, accuracy, calculations, facts, and business thoughts. But editing utilizes creativity, a touch for aesthetics, design, personal style and preference, and all sorts of different skills. Unless you've already trained yourself to switch your headspace really fast, making such a rapid jump can decrease your efficiency because your mind is still screaming finance. In this case, it's worth it to take a little break first to clear your mind, and then get into the headspace that you need. You can do this by meditating, eating a delicious food and really experiencing it, listening to calming music, going for a walk, or whatever helps you. Then once your mind is clear and not flooded with finance shit anymore, start getting into the artistic headspace needed for editing. When you feel the vibe and you know your mind is being stimulated the way it should be, you'll be running at 100%. Number 17, have a ritual. You can have a little ritual before going out, a little ritual before going to the gym, a little ritual before you start working, and so on. This again comes down to programming your mind. Once you figure out how different things affect your headspace, you can incorporate them into little rituals, and when you start doing the ritual, it'll potentiate the thing's effects. For example, if drinking tea makes you calm and collected, it can be your ritual before reading. If taking a cold shower hypes you up, it can be your ritual before working out. You can even make them a little longer, for example, by going for a walk, taking a hot shower and letting the hot water calm you down, and then making some really sweet tea to keep at your desk to keep you going. The ritual acts to program your mind, so by going through the ritual, you start to automatically get into the headspace you want. It can also act as a sort of a placebo because you'll know that once you start that particular ritual, you're about to get down to business and shit's about to happen. So, in summary, 1. sleep and don't agitate yourself before bed. 2. Just start. 3. Don't do other stuff first. 4. Always stimulate yourself. Don't be bored. Don't take little breaks. 5. Stay positive. Have fun. 6. Be in the present. 7. Don't overtry. Trust yourself. Don't worry. 8. Know what to work on. 9. Get up for a couple of minutes if you want to. 10. Try different exercise. 11. Get hyped up. 12. List things that take you out of it. 13. Don't rush. 14. Diet. 15. Prepare and have a routine. 16. Take a moment to adjust your mindset. 17. Rituals. If I had to summarize all of these tips, I'd say, just start, be in the present, and don't be distracted. Instead of always thinking about something, just try being. That's it. You'll accomplish these things faster and you'll have more fun doing it.
Hello, let's play a game. Today your task is to stay in the zone for at least 5 hours. If you do not...
Oh, for the love of fuck! These movies just keep getting more and more ridiculous. The first one had a guy who was cheating on his wife or whatever. The fifth one was like the bitch who worked at Tidal Max. Like, bruh, who gives a fuck about that shit?
Hello, let's play a game. You have been saying these movies are too ridiculous. So today, your task is to watch these movies for the rest of your life.
Ah!
Sawception. Saw vs. Jason in space.
3D coming soon.